We do have a situation. We'll just get into it right away since it happened today. Aiden, not everybody is toxic in pubs and then apparently chill on a team, right?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about your
Who's
boy,
my
your
boy?
ride or die. Parker has been kicked off of a team straight up for toxicity.
You know, like, I don't know. I like Parker. He's fun in my pubs, you know? Like, I have a good time with him. But can I see, like, why people would think he's toxic or why he would be toxic in the team? Maybe, yeah. I think I could. Maybe.
He played
Like,
me like a week ago,
you know,
but yeah.
like on a Tuesday, maybe. Yeah. Or Wednesday, no?
Where is his tweet? I'm trying to find his tweet.
His,
'Cause
his
Yeah,
tweet.
his-
I really
all
want
of
to
it.
defend him. I really want to defend him, but I
Let's
just
go
don't know
over the
how.
story first for people who don't keep up with day-to-day Dota drama. So the story is as follows. Heroic is a Dota team South American squad. They recently kicked K1 Hector and picked up Parker, which is a thing that happens a lot in South America. Just that specifically. K1 Hector gets kicked from a squad, and Parker ends up replacing him. They end up having a really good start this year. They win a LAN. First time South America has won a LAN of that kind of magnitude. Was very hype. People are popping off about Parker, how fucking great he is. Everyone's saying this guy's the next big thing. He's the next big carry. And in the Reddit thread, there is several people who warn everybody, if you guys aren't aware of what goes on in South America, you should know this may not last forever. And I'm going to read this comment from one person in particular who said, I really don't want to be a party ruiner. This is one of the happiest days as a Dota fan for me. But as a South American, I feel like I need to explain something to you guys. Parker is insanely talented, like best player in the world talented. But there's a reason why he had a mediocre career so far. Please don't get your hopes up. The dude is a god at pressing buttons, but outside of that, he lacks everything needed to be a decent human being. Trust me when I say this. With Parker, there's always a chance that any second he will say or do something that will destroy his career or at the very least his team. If 10% of his pass gets to Reddit, he's done for. And I knew that Parker had a history. I don't know all the details, but I knew that this guy was insanely toxic from my own experience in pubs, but also just from stories that I've heard. I mean, Quinn, he hates you. You guys have gone back a while.
I didn't even do anything to him.
It's the same for me. He just chooses random people, I'm sure.
I didn't do anything. I mean, dude, like when I think of Parker Stupid, I think of like 8 years ago when he's like rank 3000 in NA, and he would just run down mid game after game after game after game without saying like for no reason. He'd just be like angry that day, and he just run down mid, queue the next game, run down mid, not say anything. He just keeps doing it game after game after game for no reason, just running down mid. Like that's what I think of when I think of Parker Stupid. I think of just relentlessly running down mid without saying a word.
Was he on your team running down mid all these times?
It doesn't anyone's team. It doesn't matter. It was like he was just had guns and he's just wielding them around at random. Everyone's like, please.
So that's the gist of this comment. This person, basically tries to warn everybody that like, hey, Parker has a history.
I would like to say I have the opposite end Parker experience. My Parker experience is we load into a pub. Parker immediately picks me. We both double down 10 games in a row, win every single game because he's like the greatest carry of all time. So I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I just would like to point that out.
All right. Hey, and you'll get your chance to defend Parker. Don't worry.
I mean, I don't know if there's much more like to defend. This might be the only chance I get.
Heroic go on to play at Dream League. They fail at Dream League. And this is where things begin to break. Where Parker, who is a prolific streamer, he goes onto a stream and he flames the shit out of Divai Llama, which, is already pretty questionable. Calls him piece of shit, calls him fucking garbage, calls its build terrible, yada, yada, yada. Which, it's a little sus. Apparently he tries to walk it back a little bit, but, you can't really undo what you said in those moments. Fast forward to today. Heroic puts out a statement, and I have never seen a statement like this before, where Heroic announces that they are parting with Parker, and they actually straight up say that while we recognize the raw talent and contributions Parker has brought to the team, this pattern of unprofessional behavior, including previous incidents, is something that we will not accept. Sorry, they said that there was in the ESL Bangkok SA qualifier final where disagreements over team strategy resulted in Parker showing a lack of desire to win, which does not align with the professional standard we uphold at Heroic. I have never seen an org flat out say, we're parting ways with this guy and he is a toxic asset. Like, you should know that we are not parting on good terms. I've never seen an org do that before, outside of like somebody says something incredibly like racist or something, and in which case it's like, okay, the org is obviously going to distance themselves. But they went out of their way to spill the fact that like, yo, this guy straight up was trying to grief the game or something.
Yeah, that is pretty unprecedented.
Yeah.
It is a
Did you guys
fun
see
game.
the game? Because that's what I'm the most curious about. Did anyone actually
Oh,
see the
yeah.
game?
Their
Was
last
he
game?
actively griefing? Yeah.
I know that my coach Ostini was like talking about it a bit, where he saw that like they just won like a fight on Roche or whatever, and then Parker just like instantly like TP'd mid without even like taking Roshan. Although I didn't watch the exact game, so I just saw like 2 pictures of what happened. But it looked like he was like kind of done if you see the game. I think
So
he did not seem very happy.
we can I'll link it to you guys. We could just take a quick break here and you guys can just watch the clip so you can have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Oh, so there is a clip. Okay, I didn't know there was like a specific
clip.
moment.
Yes, and he specifically will talk about this moment and what his viewpoint of it. So we'll
I have 2 minutes of ads. So what am I watching? I feel like nothing sussy so far. Only that like the Lama's item build is a bit weird.
And I mean, he from here will run to mid and
He's
push
on the
out
mid
mid,
wave
and
on
they'll
my
just
screen.
he shows on
I mean-
mid, and then they take Roshan while he's showing mid.
Yeah,
But he has bots too,
Probs
no?
too, yeah. So maybe his team could just run in and he could TP in.
And his team
Hello?
is going to take the fight, and he's not going to bots to win.
This isn't that egregious to
Oh.
me.
Yeah, I didn't think. I think.
I mean, the
people
fight
made-
does not look good from like the first second.
Yeah.
Like it literally starts with Invo getting caught.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like not that sus to be like, I just bought back. I don't want to travel into this shit.
Seem
Effectively,
unreasonable to me.
yeah. He's like pressuring mid. He's like doing good shit, you know?
Yeah, like
Like,
there's he's like comsing, I'm like just wait, like stall. I want to force some guy back, whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, probably okay. This is like I don't know. I wasn't there, but like this, right? He's like mad, so he like doesn't say anything. You know, his team is like, we can def Roche. You know, doesn't say shit because he's mauled. And then like his team goes to Roche. They all feed. They click the minimap. Parker didn't TP, and now they're like everyone hates him. You know, like this motherfucker's mad. He didn't say anything, and he ruined the game for us. He could have told us he's not coming, and we could have gotten out of there. I could see it. That's like about as bad as it gets. But like pure objective Dota wise, I don't think he's like ruining or anything.
So Parker has put out his response to Heroic saying this, and he puts down a whole thing, and he talks about this Roshan fight. But I'll just read the full thing. I got somebody to translate it for me. So first disagreements with the team. 1, Coffertato asked not picking Monkey on 17 because he didn't want to play it and didn't feel like it fit into the draft. 2, Coffertato asked for a hero who beats Bristleback in lane and can close the map. However, he gives me DK, and he says DK wins the lane completely. This caused me to have a fit of laughter and rage. 3.
I mean, I don't think it's like a destroy type of thing, but I will say that every time that DM has played Bristle into DK, it's gone pretty bad for the Bristle.
Taking notes
So-
for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. Say about not playing Bristle, I don't care.
3, KJ, King Jungles, starts insulting me in the middle of the game, and he says, hey, dude, what's up with you, or something like this. I tell him to shut his mouth and play, so now there's tension. 4, I asked them to change Divide because to me, that was a player that was ruining the team. I was ruined mentally after losing Dream League. What did he do for that to happen? Play a bunch of series poorly, and he would spend his nights on Discord calls playing random games instead of spending time on Dota. I saw this, and all I could do was stream, laugh at the situation, play like I know. I spoke to the coaches about this, and I don't know if they did something or not, but nothing changed. 5, in the draft, having a Brazilian preference was a little bit annoying. I would tell them my heroes to win matches, and then Analog would say something, and that's what would be done. So Analog makes a call, and that's what they end up drafting instead. 6, the biggest problem is Cofredato's ego. To him, all drafts are won. 7, in full games, what Divide does is insufferable. Hitting the table, making noise, complaining, pinging items, and talking about what to build. This killed any patience I had towards this person. And 8, I see many comments talking shit in which they're saying, I am Medusa, I always go mid. I think he's talking about the Roshan play and talking about what I will do. In that moment, I said I would go mid, that we would that we should leave the Roshan and that they cancel TP. In my head, we could not win that team fight against the Stone. I assume he's saying he doesn't have Stone form. So all we could do is create space and then maybe fight 4 versus 5 or Spirit. Yeah. It was their mistake to fight there. So it sounds like, I mean, you guys kind of agree with his assessment of the team fight breakdown anyway.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think it's like sussy to not want to take the fight after he bought back and like, you know, it doesn't look good. He says, I don't want to come. If he says like, I don't want to come, and his team is like, no, fuck that, we're fighting. And then Invo gets lassoed, and he decides like, I don't want to TP into this fight. It's like not, to me at least, it's not weird.
Yeah.
Like if fight starts with my Nisha getting lassoed and immediately killed, I'm like, I don't know, guys.
I mean, Chrysalis, you're a carry player. How'd you feel about watching the Roshan fight?
It depends. If he says that he wants them to cancel TPs and then they go in and die, and then he gets mad at them or something because he says they're taking a fight, that might also be like another case where it is kind of silly, you know? And I feel like as well, if you're playing with a team, generally you kind of have to at some point make a team move. And if one guy doesn't want to fight and 4 guys do, I think you kind of just have to suck it up some of the time. I think this might be one of those cases as well.
Sure.
Or at least, you know, the team should listen to him as well as another thing. But then, yeah, if the 4 players are like, we should fight, then you probably might need to fight.
I mean, I think the breakdown of this situation, right? Like maybe he has the correct Dota read, but obviously it was egregious enough, whatever happened inside of their team comms and, you know, and the fallout from it or whatever. They obviously felt like it was egregious enough to go public in some way. I just thought it was really funny that in his post, he says, so he gets it into King Jungles. He says Cofredado has an ego. He thinks every draft is won. He hates Divide Llama and lists a lot of reasons for that. He thinks there's Brazilian bias, so he doesn't like the 2 Brazilians he's playing with. So the only player he doesn't have a problem with is his fellow Peruvian player, Schofield. That's the only person he doesn't have a problem with on the team, including the coach.
But hold up. Is the Brazilian preference, like, isn't it that also just like beef with the coach? That's how I interpreted it. He's like mad that the coach like does, like, treats the Brazilians
I think that's also directed at...
Yeah. I don't think he's mad at like Analog or KJ necessarily, is what at least that's the way I understood it. Like, yeah, he told him to shut up during the game, which is like not great. Obviously, don't do that. But I don't think I think that's more like beef with the coach. And based on all my experiences with like R27 coaches, do coaches have 2 big egos? Yes. Like that one to me makes sense. Does my coach always think that he won the draft? Yes. Like it's just how it is. And the coaches do need to be humbled in Dota in general.
Parker's there, don't worry. You can humble all 27 of them.
This is why Aiden likes Parker so much. He's the coach humbler.
And please get me Parker on my team to humble William. No, I mean, I think the sad reality of the situation is that like there's too much past the history with Parker that kind of points towards... It just makes it hard to have like a positive spin on anything that he says because of like his past. And yeah, I think it's like
the Dawnbreaker SNY clip was pretty bad, if you ask me. To go after an official on stream and flaming your teammate like this is
to me it's crazy that he wasn't kicked from that. I feel like
I
that
think
is way more egregious than this. That to me is like beyond insanity. Like to go on stream and just go on an angry tirade flaming your teammate on stream. Like it's like genuinely one of the most insane things I've ever... It might be the single most insane thing I've ever seen someone do to a teammate that's been public. I don't think I've ever seen anything more crazy. That's like, how do you not get instantly kicked for that? Like that is absolutely bonkers. I can't believe that's like 100 times crazier to me than this clip.
If I had to guess, that's probably what leads to it, right? He's probably on like some form of probation or something like that, where like they're like, dude, you can't be doing that shit. And then, you know, it doesn't take much for them to be like, okay, you're fucking off the team, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I also think I mean, it's related, but I think it's like in really bad taste to like trash talk a bunch of people who just kicked you. Like it just makes you look bad. And I think it's just in bad taste generally to badmouth prior teammates publicly. Like it's just not a precedent you want to set, being someone who like scorched earth's past teams. Like it just looks really bad.
I agree.
I think one thing we keep alluding to Parker's past. So I will just say from what I have heard and know about the situation is obviously he's very toxic. He said some pretty questionable shit. But then he's also known for like he was one of the people, and some of this is a bit of the culture, but he is also somebody who has not acted the most professionally when it comes to mid tournaments. going out and partying and drinking and stuff like that. Like that's was kind of his MO from what I understand. So that is like that's what I've heard. I don't know what you guys have heard, but that is for the audience wondering like, okay, I don't know shit about Parker in his past. Like there is definitely a trail of I think like Bali Major was another one of them. He had problems on like Beast Coast. It's like the same pattern where like he'll join a team, they'll do well, they don't do well at some point in time, and they kick Parker because he is, you know, has basically become too toxic to play with, or he's too unprofessional when it comes to, you know, playing in tournaments and stuff. So yeah.
I didn't even realize he was at Bali Major, and we played against him. I actually forgot about that. Holy.
So
I mean, I think it's really sad because I think he's like one of the most, like, objectively speaking, talented Dota players in the world. I think he's like incredibly skilled, and it's really sad that like because I think he, you know, he's obviously already proved it, but he could make that region great. You know, if somebody like some team managed to help him overcome these struggles and help build him up, as William has done for us, I think like, you know, there's a lot of talent there, and it's really sad to see it go to waste.
are you volunteering to mentor this
Nope,
this player?
absolutely not. I'm okay. But if someone's watching out there, you know, who feels like I have a PhD in psychology and I can help, please help Parker.
Uses tournament winnings to pay for their services.